I manage Osprey, an industry effort to promote effective oil spill preparedness and response in the Caspian and Black Seas. Osprey is administered through IPECA, the oil and gas industry's international association for advancing environmental and social performance, so our efforts are embedded in global experience. I aim to highlight the key lessons learned from my work and how this has relevance for potential crises or emergencies. I will focus on coordination and management systems for emergency response and the challenges associated with stakeholder engagement. Industry facilities should undertake a risk assessment for possible emergencies. This should identify potential scenarios whose environmental, social or economic impacts can then be managed. This management primarily focuses on the prevention of incidents or accidents through engineering design, effective operational procedures and training. However, there is a need for emergency preparedness to mitigate impacts should incidents occur by establishing or identifying suitable response capability. Many organisations will have comprehensive safety management systems into which emergency coordination and management can integrate. The principles that contribute to effective emergency preparedness are well established and captured within various published guidance. These principles apply whatever the type of incident, whether it be an oil spill, firefighting or road traffic accident, and they have proven applicable for the current pandemic. From my perspective, a major incident involving an oil spill poses particular challenges of coordination, command and control, as spills can involve a multitude of authorities, stakeholders and the wider public, potentially extending over a widespread geographic area if the incident is on water. Governments have certain responsibilities and obligations to provide a national emergency planning framework into which industry can integrate its plans and response resources. Whilst a regulator may ultimately investigate a company if things go wrong and issue fines or even pursue criminal action, in the public's eyes there is likely to be a negative perception of all involved parties. Aligned and coordinated response can mitigate this perception, restoring faith in both authorities and companies' competence. To promote joint response, it is advantageous for organisations to use incident management systems with similar structure and procedures that can integrate easily. I would emphasise that a robust exercise programme is the only means to test and verify these systems. When planning for major incidents, such as large fires or oil spills, the use of tiered preparedness is widely accepted. This is reflected in industry guidance and the organisation of government's emergency planning. At its heart is the principle of escalating the scale of the response to meet the needs of the incident. It avoids the establishment of large stockpiles of response capability at every locality where accidents could occur. Rather, it identifies sources of support which can be mobilised in a timely manner to meet the needs of each potential incident, up to worst-case scenarios. This requires efficient logistics and no barriers to movement of people and equipment in an emergency. Furthermore, incident management systems must have the ability to integrate this escalating capability to ensure its effective use. Governments can facilitate such support by ensuring suitable expediting of customs and immigration procedures during emergencies. A framework for cooperation in cases of emergencies and specific regional oil pollution preparedness measures are established in the Caspian Sea under two regional instruments, the Astrakhan Agreement for broad maritime emergencies and the Actau Protocol specifically for oil pollution. These instruments are developing practical and operational cooperation if the joint interests of the Caspian states are threatened or where assistance is needed by one country from the others. Despite the pandemic restrictions, virtual exercises are being held under the Actau Protocol implementation process, testing communication channels and regional cooperation procedures. In recent years, there have been full-scale exercises under the Astrakhan Agreement, with scenarios covering marine casualty, oil, chemical pollution, and firefighting. These Caspian-level exercise programs are part of a demonstrable commitment to establishing and practicing emergency response. Plans need to ensure stakeholders are engaged to the extent that is feasible and appropriate. In the event of a significant incident, community concerns and reactions can extend to national and international audiences. Oil spills often fall into this category, driven by dramatic images of stricken vessels or offshore installations causing fears of catastrophe. The grounding of a vessel in Mauritius in August this year illustrates how a fuel oil spill of around 1,000 cubic metres led to international outcry and the mobilisation of mass protests focused on the handling of the incident. In this instance, criticism extended to the vessel owner, their insurer, the flag state, the government, and those organisations providing international assistance, such as the International Maritime Organisation. Reputational damage was inflicted on everyone involved. Response entails operational needs, but must also meet stakeholder expectations during the event. The role of social media has been growing and may now have an equal or greater influence than traditional print and broadcast media. This presents both challenges and opportunities in the context of emergency response. Images, opinions and campaigns may proliferate through social media and create negative impressions about a response. Conversely, government and other involved organisations can directly share with the public verified information and updates using the same or similar internet platforms. This can help counteract unofficial or incorrect information that may be circulating. So incident and crisis management teams need to invest resources in their public information team. Information provided to the public needs to be timely, and this requires expedited approval procedures for release of statements and factual updates within incident management structures. There may be a need to monitor social media for trends, allowing concerns to be identified and misinformation counteracted. To expedite information sharing, it is possible to have ghost web pages ready for activation during an emergency, pre-populated with information about normal operations and affected facilities, including links to credible information sources on emergency preparedness, such as IPCAS publications. Responding organisations within government and industry also need to consider how potential unofficial cleanup is to be controlled or avoided. The use of volunteers has been a significant feature at some oil spills and does bring big challenges. One option is to utilise those from the community wishing to help in support roles rather than frontline response. Again, this needs planning and consideration before the event. In summary, contingency planning is the key to emergency preparedness. It allows the development of coordination and management systems and requires personnel trained and exercised in their response roles. The increasing use of social media is bringing additional pressures in the public information space. A robust online communication strategy for emergencies is recommended to balance and counteract unofficial information. Although emergency events invariably bring negative repercussions, good planning can mitigate the range of potential environmental, social and economic impacts which would otherwise ensue. Proactive communication and public information can also serve to lessen the reputational damage which may be threatened to all involved organisations. Thank you.